Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bincast. I am your host, Isaiah, with my two co-hosts, MG and B. Christensen. This is episode 23, guys. We have a very special episode today. A lot of guests today, and I would like to introduce them. First, hello, Rocha. It's your boy, Rocha. How are you doing today, sir?
Hello, everybody. I'm good. How are you?
Good. That's good to hear. And Sir Cardinal, Sirfromthesix. Voice crack.
Wow, that was pretty bad. But what's up?
And we got Sean from the Sports Fury. Hello, how are you doing, sir?
What up?
And then we got Joshu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks, guys, for having us all on. This is gonna be great, man. We're gonna have some fun.
It's gonna be a great episode, isn't it? And then my two co-hosts, how are you lovely boys doing today?
Well,
No homo.
Alright.
I'm doing good, Isaiah.
That's good to hear.
hey, I do want to point out that y'all have us on the 23rd episode, the GOAT number.
The GOAT number.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Yep. And last episode was the Isaiah less episode, but
Hey, we don't
Called
speak
the
about that.
grounding.
we didn't speak about that. But I'm doing good today though. Big episode.
Big episode.
Let's get into it, man. And by the way, this is our first YouTube episode, so
This is gonna be our first
Hey.
episode too.
they're
guys.
opening up our YouTube chapter of podcasts,
Yes, sir.
and they're on the GOAT number.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all might be familiar with Josh. He was on the 4th ever episode that was on Spotify. So a lot of history in this one episode. So
Yeah.
let's get it right. And we got a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do. And first and formerly, we're gonna speak out about basketball, and I want to speak about this. So, first team we're gonna speak about is the Warriors, the worst team out of all of ours. Warriors. Rocha,
Tough.
how do you feel about the Warriors coming into this season? How do you feel about their drafting and their off-season moves?
Well, I'd feel a lot better if, unfortunately, Clay didn't tore his Achilles. But, I mean, I'm feeling confident with the Warriors. Obviously, we're not championship contenders. But I do think the Warriors can make the playoffs as a lower-tier seed. Draft-wise, James Wiseman, we'll see how he goes. Nico Manning, a lot of people inside the Warriors organizations really high about him. And I'm not talking about just staff members. I'm talking about players, too.
Mm-hmm.
And for the offseason, we filled in voids, like bringing in Kent Bazemore, a Brad Wanamaker. So I'm feeling good, and I'm excited to watch the Warriors this year for sure.
That's great. What are some of the challenges you feel that are going to be coming into the way for the Warriors this season?
Make it up for both Clay on the offensive side and defensive side, and making sure the Warriors actually play good defense. We won a great defensive team last year, so we definitely got to step up the defense and hope James Wiseman's the dude at center.
And we have the again with James Wiseman. I feel James Wiseman is going to be one of the best rookies coming out of this draft class.
I agree.
What you guys did in this offseason was go with the pickup with Oubre.
Yes.
It was a good pickup right there. And what do you? I believe did they not release the second half of the season?
What? No, we only know the first half.
The first half, okay. How do you? What do you predict your record to be for the first half?
I honestly, it's a little bit of a challenging schedule. I think the Warriors will be around 500. So what? There's 37 games, so 18 and 18.
Okay.
By the way, I want to point out Rocha on his YouTube channel did his actual Warrior prediction. So if you want to see his full prediction, go
sir.
subscribe
Check that
to
out.
your boy Rocha. And
Sir.
And
Eh.
for the Warriors, again, I forgot what I was going to say for a second there, but what was I going to say?
They're looking to bounce back this season,
Yeah.
man. They're trying to.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
one of the worst teams in the West, and now they're trying to be a playoff team again.
Yeah.
They could be that.
Yeah, just being without Clay for the entire season, being without Steph for majority of the season just sucked. Like I said, I don't expect us to be championship contenders, but I think the addition of Oubre is going to make up for some of the scoring. Riggins is going to go back to a position he's more comfortable with, and that's the 2. Oubre at the 3, Draymond at the 4, Wiseman and Chris at the 5. We don't know who's starting yet. So I think the Warriors will bounce back, but unfortunately, without Clay, I don't think we're championship contenders.
Now, Rocha, do you think that it's too much to ask for from Wiseman? Because it looks like you guys are going to possibly be starting him at center right out the gate as the season starts. Is that too much to ask for a rookie? I mean, because remember, there's like no summer camp.
Yeah.
There's no summer league, nothing for these rookies. It's going to be tough, man, tougher than it ever has been. And you're asking him to start and be that main rim protector and front court presence.
Yeah, I'm worried about that because, well, it wasn't confirmed because they can't confirm it, but we know Draymond and Wiseman tested positive COVID. Both of them will not be starting this preseason. Draymond, I'm not worried about. But I honestly I prefer to put Marquise Chris at start at the beginning of the year, let Wiseman go into that role. But I honestly think we're going to start Wiseman, and I think that's a lot of pressure on him. He only played a couple games of college last year because of the recruitment stuff. But I think it's going to be a lot to ask for Wiseman. We'll see how he does with it.
Isn't this also one of the best benches you've had in a while, too?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Brad Wanamaker is a solid. Kent Bazemore is a great wing for 3-point. Marquise Chris or James Wiseman, whoever. And then, of course, we got Eric Pascal, who was all-rookie second NBA team. Yes, from Nova. Everybody in the organization this year has seen him take that next step already. So, yes, it's one of our best benches since we won it in 2015, for sure.
Now, Rocha, Draymond Green, last year, he had a really down year, man. Do you expect a better season from him, or do you think Pascal is going to take that position from him at some point this season?
I think Pascal will be off the bench the entire season unless we need him at the 3. But I do expect Draymond to be a little bit better. I think with better shooters around him. I mean, he was dealing with a Kai Bowman, a Damian Lee around him. Now he's got Oubre, he's got Wiggins, he's got step back. I think Draymond obviously doesn't go back to his prime anymore, but I do think he does better this season for sure.
Okay.
Interesting. One thing, Steph is my favorite NBA player outside the Sixers. I have his jersey, and last year, people were saying if he stayed healthy, he could have possibly won MVP. What are your expectations for Steph Curry this year?
I don't think he'll win MVP, but I expect him, because we'll be in a lower seed, but I expect him to play at MVP type level. He's not done with his prime yet. I mean, it wasn't a bad injury. It was just a hand injury. Yes, I don't know. He melted, whatever. But I expect Steph to be back to his normal self this year.
Maybe he even wins comeback player of the year.
Could, yeah, for sure.
And I seen him in the one game before the shutdown when he played against Toronto. I actually watched that game. That man was he was already back to his prime. He hit the deep 3 fadeaway, 35 feet at almost half court. He hit the and 1-3 from like 5 feet out the 3-point line. Steph Curry, even right before the season got shut down, before he got the flu, all of that was already looking good. So I expect nothing but greatness from him. And this Warriors team, you're in the West, but I want to key in on one signing from the Phoenix Suns trade. Kelly Oubre Jr., one of my favorite underrated guys in the league. What do you think his role will necessarily be in the Warriors' offense and defense?
So a lot of people knew this. I wanted Kelly Oubre off season. I was willing to do that 2 for Kelly Oubre, the 11th. I mean, I'm so hyped to have him. I think he'll be. I don't know if he'll be our second or third option. It just depends what Wiggins does. I think Wiggins coming into the season is our number 2. I think Oubre is our number 3. He's going to help. We needed a wing defender. He's going to help with that a lot. I think he's going to end up being our number 2 option. I think Wiggins will drop the 3, which nothing against him. I still think he's going to have a solid season, hopefully. Mm-hmm. But I think Oubre is going to end up being our second option, scoring option, and, one of our best wing defenders out there.
Totally. I agree with you, Roach. I agree with you. I think he's going to be a 2 option for you guys.
Yeah.
Yep. No doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go to another Western Conference team, though. Obviously, this guy's a Cowboys fan, but I really respect this basketball team. Sean, you got Luka Doncic, had probably the best second-year type season in a while. I mean, some Mavs fans already are overtaking him over Dirk Nowitzki. Do you expect him to be an MVP like a lot of Mavs fans want him to be this season?
Well, last year he finished with 4th in voting, if I recall. This guy's got the potential to win an MVP. This year, next year, he probably will eventually. I'm not sure when it will be, but he's definitely going to win one. He's got the potential because he makes everybody around him better. His passing and scoring, playmaking, all the above. He's going to win MVP. Now, I'm not going to put him over Dirk just yet. Dirk is the legend, He's amazing. Obviously, Luka has potential to possibly be the greatest Mav of all time, but you can't give it to him just yet, But, I eventually do think he will win MVP. I think there's no one in this league that's going to really deny that unless they're just, haters. So
Exactly.
he will eventually win it.
I agree.
Yep. And
exactly.
another team, Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, when this guy's healthy, this guy is a top 5 power forward in the league. He showed with the Knicks. He showed flashes with y'all. What do you want from Kristaps Porzingis? Do you just want health and mediocrity, or do you want him health and be full potential? Because a lot of Mavs fans say, as long as he's healthy, you guys sign Josh Richardson, and you got to get Scott. You're going to get the White Powell. So you guys do have other big men available. But do you want Kristaps Porzingis to be half of what he used to be after this injury, or you want him to be full-on Kristaps Porzingis?
Well, we saw last year when he played, he looked good.
Yep.
He's got a lot of potential. He's called the unicorn for a reason because he can do pretty much everything. He's not big guy where he's going to be banging down low or anything like that, but he can rebound. He looked good back a long time ago when he was with the Knicks. He was getting blocks. He can make plays in that regard and stuff like that. But I just want him to be healthy and be an option, because Kristaps is going to be a guy that's can extend the floor. He's going to draw out big men, and all that's going to do is help out Luka with driving and dishing and creating more lanes for our players. So as long as you have him out there, this guy can shoot from anywhere. We've seen that. So he's just going to be a deadly option no matter what. So we just need him healthy. That's it. And that's obviously been the story of his whole career. But him and Luka have a great relationship, and that's what's important. And so I'm really hoping that we can get him. And Dallas has always had one of the best training staffs over the years. So I'm hoping we can get him back and get him healthy.
And get him healthy, yeah. And I just want to say, shout out to your owner, Mark Cuban. This offseason, he helped a former NBA player, Delonte West, who was very struggling. When I see things like that, I like to give praise out, and that was great by Mark Cuban. But B. Christensen,
amazing.
We got the Milwaukee Bucks.
Shit.
We know the Giannis talks. You guys signed Drew Holiday. The Bogdanovich trade didn't go through, but you still have one of the best starting lineups. First question.
We do.
What's up with Giannis? Right. Is he signing the Supermax, or is he going to play out his last year on his deal?
It's unknown at this point. Like, one day you hear reports saying he's going to sign it next week. The next day they're saying he's not. It's, very confusing right now. I'm just going to take this one day at a time.
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, dude, I know Bucks fans, you want Giannis to sign quickly, but I think you guys just have to be patient with this. You have to be patient with this. You guys made some moves to get, like I said, guys like Drew Holiday, DJ Augustine. You build guys around him. So I think you should just wait. But speaking of Drew Holiday and DJ Augustine, how do you feel about the offseason signings and, the trades that you guys made this offseason?
I really liked it. I did. Because, Drew Holiday, I think he's going to be that third piece we need to, get us over the hump. Because, Wesley Matthews was not it for us.
Yep, I agree.
I didn't even like him at all when we brought him in. I knew he was past his prime. He's not what he was. I was glad when I saw he walked.
Yeah, I think Drew Holiday is one of the best defensive guards in the league, and I think that's going to really boost up your defense, which is already pretty good around the perimeter. Because we saw the weakness of that perimeter defense against teams like Miami and those teams that could shoot, man. So I love that move for you guys getting Drew Holiday. That was great.
I did too.
Yeah, man, that was a great move for the Bucks. And Drew Holiday, former Sixer. I love him. I wish he could have came back here, but I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and if y'all don't at least go to 7 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to be very disappointed in the Milwaukee Bucks. Hopefully it's against my Sixers, so, we can talk a little trash, but I want to bring in another Eastern Conference team.
Up north.
This team might not be in the playoffs, but it's up and coming. Josh.
Yes.
We watched the preseason game from the Bulls tonight. We've seen what Patrick Williams' potential was. We've seen what Kobe White could do when he makes smart shots. We've seen Lowry kind of get back down low. What what do you want to see from the Bulls this year? You know, you might be a playoff team, you might not. What do you want? What is a successful season for the Chicago Bulls this year?
All right, so the Chicago Bulls, a huge regime change during the offseason in the front office, changed out the coaching staff. Billy Donovan comes in here. I think he's a perfect fit for, developing a lot of the young talent that we do have here. He's changing the offensive scheme, the defensive scheme, and that's why you saw a lot of the sloppiness in the first preseason game. It is what it is, but there was a lot of good takeaways from that. Seeing Patrick Williams, he looked really promising on the defensive side. We already know that, but on the offensive side, we saw him hit a few shots, man, and he doesn't shy away from anything. Zach LaVine looked like Zach LaVine. Wendell Carter Jr., Billy Donovan is going to utilize more of what he is capable of, because under Jim Boylan, he just wanted him to be a statue in the front court, right? Just be the big man, and that's it. But Wendell Carter Jr., he could do a lot of different things for us. He could do everything. So what you saw him from the preseason is you saw him taking a lot more shots from the outside and around the perimeter, because that's going to be something that he's going to do during the regular season. He just needs to stop hesitating so much. I saw that a lot in the game against Houston. And with Kobe White, he was saying that the game has slowed down for him a whole lot, and that's because he's been really working on that and studying film. He's going to read and make plays and find guys that are wide open, as opposed to being just a score first guard. He's going to be more of a true point guard, because he was basically a shooting guard last year, right? But he could be more dynamic than that, and I look forward to seeing him progress that way during the regular season. Seeing Zach LaVine, his role is going to change in the offense. We didn't see that in the preseason game. He was still carrying the team, and you saw him going ISO quite a bit. But during the regular season, that's not going to be the case during Billy Donovan's offense. He wants everybody to run, cut, and move. He wants guys moving off the ball, and that's probably going to bring down Zach LaVine's numbers a little bit. But he's gonna be more of that role player, and it's kind of similar to back in the day with Michael Jordan, right? He was that guy who you give him the ball and everyone just move out the way, right?
Move out the way.
And then when Phil Jackson took over, he was like, no, you're gonna have to be more of a team player, and you're gonna have to start setting guys up, start being more of a playmaker in that way and playing off the ball. And Zach LaVine's all for that. He wants to be great at everything he does. And one of the things that people sleep on with LaVine is his defense. He's been getting better every single season defensively. He was one of the best in steals last year. And so he wants to make that a point to be a better defender even this year. So I look forward to that. Lauri Markkanen, I think he's going to be one of the most improved players this year. You saw him going to work more in the paint, bringing it down low, banging in the paint, as opposed to Jim Boylan, where you saw him being more of a spot-up shooter, right, for Zach LaVine or Kobe White. No, this guy can do it all. He's in a contract year. We'll see if we're going to extend him at the end of the season. It's all up to him. I think he's going to be a most improved player candidate, as well as Wendell Carter Jr. Hopefully he stays healthy. A guy that I'm also really excited for is Daniel Gafford off the bench. And just seeing the continued progression of Patrick Williams. So Chicago Bulls, there's a lot to keep an eye on during this regular season. A lot.
No question about that. Yeah. Are you excited for Cristiano Felicio this year? MVP, greatest of all time. Are you excited for Cristiano Felicio?
Hey, man, go out there, make some plays. Fuck it. Yeah.
Hey, I know Bulls fans like to meme him, but yeah, man, I like the Bulls this year. I think, like I said, y'all could either be a really good playoff team or just out the playoffs. But Patrick Williams, so this is a question, because I've seen this and I laughed at this. Right. You know how the Chicago Bears, they traded up and they took Mitchell Trubisky too early. Some scouts, some NBA experts said y'all took Patrick Williams too early. Do you compare those two picks from Mitchell Trubisky to Patrick Williams? Do you agree with that?
Jesus. Absolutely not. Football is a much tougher game, especially playing the quarterback position. It's one of the hardest positions in sports. Basketball, it's not, anything all that easy either. But no, Patrick Williams, he's got all the intangibles. He's got a high IQ for the game, and he does everything pretty well, and he's just going to continue to grow. And you saw glimpses of that here in the preseason game, going up against the Houston Rockets team, which they played in the bubble. They were in the playoffs, so they played not too long ago. Remember, us Chicago Bulls, we haven't played in a long time. And Patrick Williams, he is a rookie who hasn't had a real offseason for a rookie, and he was going to work against these Rockets, man. So, no, I don't think it's going to be the same at all. Trubisky, he could never read a defense, and this guy is all about the defense, and his offense actually looks really good right out the gate. So, no, it's not going to be the same scenario at all. Patrick Williams, he's going to be the next Kawhi Leonard, man. He's that good.
Shit.
He's that good.
I know we talked about this before, but do you see Patrick Williams taking over Otto Porter Jr. starting role this year?
Yes, and you know what? And interesting enough, if he continues to be this good during the preseason, he might. I didn't think this would be a thing, but he might be the starter when the regular season starts. And the reason why is because Otto Porter Jr.'s minutes is going to be very limited at the start of the regular season because he's coming back from that injury and he's still dealing with some. He says he's good, but they're going to be very cautious about his foot. So Billy Donovan, just hearing him from training camp, it seems like he wants to ease Otto Porter Jr. into the rotation, and that could leave either Thaddeus Young or even Patrick Williams starting at the 3 when the regular season starts. So if Patrick Williams can continue to play like this during the preseason, he might be the starter, Roach. He could be.
Yeah, man, I'd love to see that. We were talking about, draft. During the draft, he's one of these unknown players, but has so much potential. So
and here's the thing too. And here's the thing too. Otto Porter Jr. He's a solid player, right? But people say he's overrated, and that's because the money that he got, and he's injury prone. So Patrick Williams is going to have opportunities during the regular season, if not already out the gate, where he can overtake him at that starting 3 position. And I think he will flourish. I think it's eventually going to happen during the regular season. And I think he's going to beast it, man. Absolutely. I'm excited for Patrick Williams, bro.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, man. He has a lot of potential. He's what a lot of us call a hidden gem that got picked very early. But I like I like the Bulls' potential, man. Oh, Zach LaVine. One thing I like to do. People were saying he's just a dunker. He really improved with the Bulls with Jim Boylan.
Oh, dude. He was basically a glorified dunker in Minnesota, but he really improved his game out here in Chicago. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
He did. And I'm saying he improved under Jim Boylan. Imagine what he can do with Billy Donovan.
Hoiberg and Boylan. Those are 2 trash coaches.
Horrible coaches.
And there's a lot of Bulls fans out there. And if you're a Bulls fan, you're listening to this right now, there's a lot of Bulls fans that feel not that optimistic about this year because when they look at this roster, the only real major change is Patrick Williams that we drafted, right? And so they see the same old team and they think that we're going to be the same old Bulls as last year and we're going to have a similar record. No, that's not going to be the case. Billy Donovan and this coaching staff, don't forget Maurice Cheeks, man. A lot of the Bulls players were talking about during training camp just how great Maurice Cheeks has been for them. He's a no-nonsense guy, but he's somebody that everyone respects. He will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear for the betterment of you and the team. So completely different regime change. Boylan was a clown of a head coach. Billy Donovan is going to develop our guys. He's going to take our players' weaknesses and turn them into strengths, and he's going to play stronger to those strengths, and we're going to see a better Chicago Bulls team. Virtually the same rosters last year, we're going to see completely different results.
I agree. Now, we talk about the Eastern Conference. We talk about how the Bulls may or may not be a playoff team. Sir, your team is definitely going to be in the playoffs, but the East is getting stronger. Philly, we make some trades. Brooklyn, they get Katie and Kyrie. Boston, another young team that got another year of playoff experience. The Bucks, if they sign Giannis. Where do the Raptors really rank with these top dogs of the Eastern Conference?
They're going to take a little bit of a step back, I think. They lost a lot in free agency. Some big names from the organization, but they added some depth pieces. But I think they're going to take a step back this year.
They could. Now, when you take a step. When you say take a step back, I don't think. Obviously, you lost Ibaka, you lost Gasol, you re-signed Van Vliet. I mean, that guys like I believe Matt Thomas and Chris Boucher, that brings up more minutes for them. Well, how do you expect them to fill these bigger roles that they'd be getting, after the departure of Gasol and Ibaka?
They just got to start playing them. And Boucher's got loads of potential. I really like his game. He looked good in his games that he played last year, but he re-signed, and now it's time to step up. And I think he's going to be a good player off the bench.
Yeah, most likely. Who's going to be your guys' starting center this year? Because I don't know that for sure.
We signed the lovely Aaron Baines.
Oh, the guy Joel Embiid dunked on in the 2018 playoffs versus the Celtics.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Yeah.
The dude who broke Steph Curry's hand last year.
Yes. And that's you know what? No shit. This guy's got some serious defensive skills. Like, he is a bulldozer in there, so he's gonna bring aggressive defense.
That's good, man. That's pretty good. And I think you guys are going to be one of the best defensive teams in the league, fundamentally wise. Kyle Lowry, he's just a dog on defense. He just gives effort 100% his heart on the court. Van Vliet,
he was
he's
number one in
taking charges.
Charges,
yeah. He puts his body on the line. I mean, Fred Van Vliet, he's not the ideal defender you may want him to be, but he can get the job done. Pascal Siakam can get the job done on defense. Where do you think your defense will rank this year?
I think they're
saying all these things.
I think they could be top 10 potential. OG Anunoby is another one that smothers on the defensive side, so he's going to be great. So
yes. I love OG. I love OG's potential, not only on offense but on defense. He's a really solid player.
Yeah, in the playoffs, I gotta say, I was kind of disappointed at times with Pascal Siakam because he was supposed to be that guy, but OG stepped up, man, a lot, big time in the playoffs, man. He really impressed me.
And he's coming in against Boston.
Yeah, he's coming into a contract year. So.
Oh yeah, man, NBA players in a contract year, they ball out.
So I'm looking forward to see what he brings to the table. They brought some depth signings this offseason. They got Alex Len, another tough defender down the middle. Flynn, Malachi Flynn, the draftee. I can't wait to see. He's impressed so many people here in Toronto already. Like, the organization absolutely loves his mentality. He's going to be a bulldog in there on the defensive side of the ball. He could shoot the three, and he could pass the ball like a wizard. So I'm really excited for Malachi Flynn for the upcoming season.
Yeah, no doubt. I want to say something about OG Anunoby. I really like his story after letting LeBron hit that game winner in, I believe, the 2018 playoffs against you guys. He got injured the year after, but he is really, his confidence level's up. His defense has improved. And like I said, that shot versus Boston, keeping you guys in the series. And I agree with Josh. He really stepped up this year in the playoffs. So I think you guys don't give him a max deal, but give him the deal he deserves. Because after that one bad play, he stepped his game up even more in the playoffs when it mattered most. So big props to OG Anunoby.
Absolutely. He's going to be a leader this year. He's going to be one of our leaders.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I can't wait to see what he does this year. Him and Siakam, I believe they both will be the forwards, the small and power forwards. So let's see what these guys can do. And he's one of the best wing defenders also. So I want to see what he does this year. I'm really interested in OG Anunoby.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do as a whole.
Well,
the NBA champions. Is it
yes,
repeat?
Sir.
Or do you think that the Mavericks, the Clippers, the Nuggets, do you think these guys in the West can compete with y'all, can knock y'all off y'all game, can beat the big dogs? Do you think that that's even in the realm of possibility?
Yes, I think it is in the realm of possibility. The West is stacked as it is, but I still think that the Lakers could repeat, and I think it's a very high chance we do. The Lakers are just fucking crazy in depth. We have so much good players, and I feel that we just got better from last year with the key parts that we got in this offseason. With Jesus Christ, I can't speak today.
Dennis Schroeder.
Dennis Schroeder, Wesley Matthews, and
okay, don't get hype about Matthews.
He played good this not good, but he played decent in this preseason game today.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carroll.
And
Carroll.
Harold too.
Dennis Schroeder, Wesley Matthews.
Well,
Y'all got the reigning sixth man of the year and the second in for sixth man of the year and Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, you got the top two sixth men last year. Yeah. So that's really good for y'all.
And we got rid of the bum Danny Green. I'm happy with that too. He could take his ring.
That's another conversation me and you gotta have.
Yeah, we gotta have a conversation about that. I honestly think we could repeat. I wouldn't be surprised if the Nuggets, the Clippers, or the Mavs, even Houston, if Harden stays, could knock us out. And I just think this West is just too strong. And like I would. It's not a for sure we could go to the finals, but it is a big chance we can.
Yeah. I see two teams out of the East that could beat you guys. Potentially the Bucks if they play to the potential, and of course the Nets.
Yeah,
the Nets.
Mm-hmm. The Nets.
KD and Kyrie. Yeah, man. But Isaiah, I just said we had to have this conversation. I had this at the back of my mind.
Man.
From Laker fan to Sixers fan, we debated about Doc Rivers on this podcast.
That was
it's time to debate.
I don't think.
What do you think? Do you think Danny Green has any good talent left in the tank? Do you think that is possible after the horrible shot in the finals?
I think he does. He still plays great defense. He could rebound.
Yep.
He just can't shoot.
Mm-hmm. He just can't.
He can't just shoot. And I think he's gonna do good with you guys. I hope he does good with you. I hope you don't have to experience what I had to experience.
Yep.
And I just again. You also got Dwight Howard. I think Dwight Howard's gonna be a great player off the bench for you guys.
Backup. Great mentor for Embiid.
Yeah, a great mentor for Embiid. Stop being such a whiny ass and be physical.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, one thing I do like about Danny Green this year, and I watch Danny Green has a podcast, and one thing I like about him is he said this year, how Ben Simmons not shooting, he's going to come on this team, Danny Green, Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard's going to make sure Joel Embiid is doing the right things. Mm-hmm. Danny Green's going to make Ben Simmons shoot the ball this year. That's why those signings and those moves were so kind of pivotal to me, because these guys coming in and say, hey, I understand y'all the two best players and y'all the top dogs on this team, but we're going to challenge you guys to do these things that y'all are not comfortable with. Ben Simmons, you got to shoot the ball. And B, you got to get in that paint. You got to be physical, and you can't be getting injured after a love tap on the shoulder.
Now, you're saying you're excited about your 76ers this upcoming season, but is it worrying you a little bit that there's a lot of rumors going out there that James Harden wants to be traded to Philadelphia, and a deal that would involve probably Ben Simmons? Is that something you would want?
No. And I hear, my guy, Philly Take with RB, big Sixer YouTuber, shout out to him. He said he does not want to see Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid get traded without another coach. And I agree. I don't want to see Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons traded until we see him with a good coach. Because Brett Brown, he was a horrible coach. He could not make these guys work. No matter how good Embiid and Simmons were, they could not work. And I see talent in the game that Embiid and Simmons can work. And Harden, you see what he's doing in Houston? He's making a whole baby fit. He's saying, I want to go here. Now I want to go here. I don't want that. Mm-hmm. I don't want him to give up on our team like he is giving up on Houston. I understand one of the best shooting guards in the league, if not the best. Mm-hmm. But I don't want a guy who's going to give up on the team after one bad season. I don't want a guy who can't hit clutch shots in the playoffs. I don't want a guy who's almost 30 years old and is going to be taking so much cap. Remember, we got 2 years to extend Joel Embiid. His contract's up in 2023. It's almost 2021. So I don't want his contract to even affect or even make the general manager think about not extending Joel Embiid in 2023. His contract's too big. His personality is not good. I understand he's friends with a lot of people from Philly. Rapper Meek Mill, who's friends with the Sixers. I don't care. I don't care if you're friends with guys that involved with the Sixers. You don't belong here. I don't want you here. That's how I feel about James Harden.
Hopefully you also have the same general manager, not fucking get another 4 by then. And how do you feel about Doc Rivers, MG? Doc Rivers coming into the season.
Doc Rivers, we've seen his fall with the Clippers. And I'm glad you asked me about Doc Rivers, because I've seen that comment Paul George made. He said that Doc Rivers didn't use him in the pick and roll. Well, actually, Paul George was used under Doc Rivers' system. He ran the most pick and rolls he has in his career. And I'm tired of all the Clippers falls being on Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers can control back to Paul George in the side of the backboard. Doc Rivers, terrible. All he can do is draw up the play. Doc Rivers can control if Kawhi misses every single shot he takes in the fourth quarter of a Game 7. Doc Rivers.
I think Doc Rivers gets a whole lot of flack because that's not just the only talented team that the Clippers have had that didn't get the job done.
Yeah. Right. And I want to bring up that Lob City team, because that team, Doc Rivers, he does take some of the blame. Yes, he had DeAndre Jordan, one of the best centers at that time when he was in his prime. He had Blake Griffin, Rookie of the Year. He had Chris Paul in his prime. How can you not win a championship? And that scares me. But one thing I like out of that moment is that some players we had there are the same styles we had here. When you look at Joel Embiid, he can dunk the ball. He's a monster in the paint. That was DeAndre Jordan in his prime. So he knows how to obviously use, big physical centers who can dominate in the paint. Blake Griffin, 6'9", good ball handling skills, athletic, can drive to the ring. That's basically Ben Simmons' playing style, but Ben Simmons is just a better passer. And we don't have the Chris Paul, but I'm mad that he did not succeed with that Clipper team. But the type of team and the type of players he had on that team have a similar play style to what we have on the Philadelphia 76ers now. On a Boston team, same thing. Kevin Garnett, physical big man dominating the paint. Joel Embiid, physical big man dominating the paint. We got Tobias Harris, nice 3-and-D wing forward. Paul Pierce, arguably one of the greatest wing forwards. So he had those teams that were unsuccessful, but he has that experience. And if he can learn from the Clipper mistakes and the Boston mistakes, even though he won a championship in Boston, should have won more than one, I think that he knows the playing style that we have, and I think he'll learn from those mistakes. And I think it's not going to be any of that here in Philly. That's how I feel about, his past failures with other teams.
But, at the end of the day, I know everybody is giving flack to Doc, but like Mofo said, it could have been just the curse.
Yeah, it could have been
but here's the thing, though. What's the curse? I don't know. Where does it come from? It's not like the Cubs. They had the Billy Goat curse. The Red Sox. They had the Babe Ruth curse.
Yeah.
What's the Clippers curse?
It's because they entered Staples Center. They wanted to come into Staples Center. That's their curse.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. According to Mofo and Isaiah, they have never made it to a conference finals since they've been in Staples Center, since they turned to the Los Angeles Clippers. Remember before they were in San Diego?
Right. So now they're going to be moving out to the Coliseum, right? Here soon. Yeah. So what if that's when they start winning? That would be a trip. That would be weird.
No doubt.
I'll be mad because I want them to stay.
I want them to stay so they can get cursed. Yeah. Hey, Isaiah, with them moving, you can't just walk across the hallway and steal their players like you walk across the hallway and steal Montrezl Harrell. So that's why you don't want them to go. You can't just go steal all their talent from there. That's why you don't want them to leave. Mm-hmm. So, great sign for y'all. Now, Sean, from Sixer to Maverick fan, Seth Curry. How do you feel about the Mavs trading him away, and what do you think he can do in Philadelphia that'll benefit for us?
Seth Curry, man. I like the guy. I really do. He's had his best years in Dallas. I felt like he's really progressed a lot when he was with us, and that's I think that's a lot to do with our coaching staff really putting in the time. Rick Carlisle is great. He really does take the time to help players. We've seen that with Tim Hardaway. He's had his best shooting and stuff like that with Dallas too. So, Seth Curry, man, y'all got a great player. He's a great teammate. He'll take on whatever role you want to give him. If you need him to come off the bench and he start some games, he's going to play. So I like him, and he's a good defender. Now, obviously, he's a little undersized, so if you put a big guy on, it's going to be hard. But this guy is actually a pretty solid defender for y'all. So y'all really got a good player. I knew we had to let him go. We had to trade him, but I feel like y'all got a good piece over there, and plus, I think he's going to have a great relationship. Y'all got Doc Rivers, right? So, he's obviously married to Doc Rivers' daughter. So,
Wait.
So you got a good relationship there already with that coach.
High IQ too, Seth Curry.
Yeah. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he's going to a team that's going to utilize him. So
he's also better than his brother.
I mean, technically, shooting percentage-wise, Seth Curry has a better shooting percentage than Steph Curry.
That's because Steph Curry pulls up from half court 2 times a game.
That's true.
He shoots a lot more shots.
He does a lot more.
Better shooting percentage plus better IQ.
Whoa.
Well, defensive-wise, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think
For
Steph's
sure.
better for sure.
He also doesn't
He could
slip when he
fight.
goes for a dunk.
Okay.
But yeah,
But you're Philadelphia 76ers, man. I'm really curious about that team because the Eastern Conference did get a whole lot tougher this year with the Nets.
Yep.
Nets going to be in there. I like Atlanta with the moves they did during the offseason. You still have Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Indiana, and Miami, who, man, I mean, they were incredible during the bubble. So, I'm curious to see where you feel, MG, your 76ers are going to fit in the East.
I think we're going to be right around that 3-4 spot.
Really?
Number 1, Milwaukee.
Really?
Number 2, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Number 3, Boston. 4, Philly. 5, Miami. And here's why. I'll get to why I have this with Miami in a second.
Ooh.
6, Toronto. 7, hot take, Chicago.
Ooh.
And 8, Indiana.
8 Indiana?
Atlanta.
Wow.
Wait, you don't have Atlanta in there.
Atlanta, listen, Atlanta's a young team. Give them one more year, and they're going to be a top 5 team. And here's why. First, I'll explain Miami. Miami, they're coming off the NBA final. They played, 2.5 months ago? So they're going to start off slow. They're not going to have a very good record to start off, but they'll pick it up at the end of the season. But I feel like the Sixers, we haven't played in 3 to 4 months, which is the normal offseason, 3 to 4 months. We are more rested than them, so I feel like we'll finish better than them. Obviously, Boston, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, more talented than us. They're going to be top 3. Toronto, I agree with Sir. They're going to take a little step back. But Atlanta, I feel like every young team, I don't jump on that hype train. With the Cleveland Browns, and I don't want to bring too much football, I didn't hype on the hype train until this season. I said, give them 1 year, with a good coach and all that. Same with Atlanta. Get them 1 year with a solid team, and they're going to be good. I'm not going to fall for their hype train like a lot of people did with the Cleveland Browns and that young talented squad, and I'm always going to stay like that. So give them next year, the 2021-2022 season, and they're going to be one of the best teams, if not arguably a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference, but not now for Atlanta.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
But so you know what? Look, you say that Miami's going to start off slow because they just played not too long ago, right? And I would agree with that if we're just talking about maybe just Jimmy Butler, who was one of the vets on that team. But Miami's one of the youngest, most stud-started teams in the NBA, so I don't think they're going to be all that tired. Now, LeBron James and AD, they probably will, right? But it's a good thing they have a whole lot of depth, right? So their minutes are probably going to be a little bit, fewer starting off the NBA season. But I think Miami's going to hit the ground running, honestly.
Adding Avery Bradley was a big addition for them too. So,
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's huge for the defensive side too.
Defense,
Right.
yep.
Very huge. Yep. Recently, you said Avery Bradley with the he was recent with the Lakers, and he played really good defensively. So that will be good for Miami. But like I said, man, I mean, y'all see how Jimmy Butler was limping after what was that, Game 3? He
Right.
couldn't barely walk.
He was
so.
carrying that team.
Right,
man.
so that's why you limit his minutes a little bit, starting off the season because he's the vet, right? But these other guys can pick it up: Myers Leonard, Bam, Duncan Robinson, Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, Tyler Hero, and didn't they pick up Crowder?
No, he's in Phoenix.
He's in Phoenix. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. He went to Phoenix. My bad.
Yeah, they lost him.
Very signing for Phoenix. Very signing.
Yep. But yeah, man. So that's a good point that they are young. But like I said, Jimmy Butler was literally he could barely walk. So I'm only gonna go off of that. But other than that, this was a full regular season. I put Miami over us. But I talked to Rocha about Steph and MVP and Sean about Luka MVP. I want to get all of your guys' MVP predictions. I'm gonna start with the NBA champion Isaiah. Who is your MVP gonna be this season?
I'm gonna agree with Josh on that part that he had said that AD and LeBron are probably gonna get their minutes limited in the beginning for the season. I know it's probably not gonna happen. I honestly think AD could win MVP, but I honestly don't see that happening. But that's who I believe is gonna win MVP. But if we're gonna go for, I think Luka's gonna win MVP. I don't see Giannis winning MVP this year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to three-peat MVP and the type of league the NBA has come into and all that stuff. Josh, who do you believe will win the MVP this year?
I'm actually going to go with Giannis. I think he's going to win it 3 years in a row.
Ooh,
I think it'll come down to him and Luka. The Mavericks have a brutal schedule, and if Luka can have the Mavericks as a top 4 seed, he'll be an MVP candidate along with Giannis. It'll be a 2-man race, and I think Giannis will win it.
Okay, that is interesting one. And Giannis is obviously, one thing I like to say about him, we were talking about rest, he is way more rested because they got eliminated the second round, and he didn't play the rest of the second round, so he'll be a little bit more rested than a lot of these guys. So I don't think, honestly, a lot of this MVP race on the season will be based off who starts off fast and the rest and stuff. But Sean, who do you believe will be this year's MVP?
Oh, I want to say Luka, obviously, but I'm not. It all depends, man. Like, I think Josh was kind of pretty much nailing it right on the head right there, so I don't want to repeat everything he said, but because Dallas does have a rough schedule. The first half of the season, I don't know. I felt like I don't know. I haven't looked at the exact percentage based off of difficulty and all that, but man, we have a tough schedule, and it's going to be interesting to see how we look with Kristoff not playing until early January. They're saying, and then when he comes back from injury, how quickly he can get going, stuff like that, and then obviously all the new pieces. So, Luka, if we could be up there in the top seed of because it always goes to a top seeded team, right? So the MVP. So if we could be in the top seed, then I think Luka is going to have a chance. But I'm probably feeling it's going to be Giannis still. I'm right there with Josh. I'm not sure if Luka. I think another year for sure Luka will get it.
Right.
I think he'll just be in the conversation this year. So, but we'll see. That's kind of what I'm feeling, man. We just got one of the toughest schedules, man. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
But you know what though? If the Mavericks are a top 2 or even a top 3 seed during the whole time that Porzingis is gone, he's gonna be leading the race up until that point.
Oh, 100%.
Up until that point.
Yeah.
It'll be his to lose.
Mm-hmm.
His to lose. But you know how Giannis is. His determination is great, man. When you look at his story, he wants to win. And I mean, B. Christensen, you're the biggest Giannis guy, obviously, being a Bucks fan. These guys, 2 of these guys said Giannis. Who do you think will win the MVP this year? Will it be Giannis, Luka, Steph? Who do you think will be it?
I think Giannis could three-peat easily.
Easily.
He could. It's a possibility, but I don't see it. I honestly see it being
Luka?
I just do.
Whoa.
Luka Doncic. Okay. Now, when you guys say Luka, I'm with Josh on this one. If they are the top 3 seed up until that point, without Porzingis, with their schedule, yes. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the Mavs are going to be a little bit above 500 before Porzingis gets back, and I think I'll go with mine here. My MVP prediction. I think if this team at least makes the number 2 seed, with LeBron and AD not playing that much minutes, I'm saying it right here, right now. I'm probably the only guy who's going to pick this guy. It's going to be Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi the Claw Leonard.
I was thinking about Kawhi too.
They got eliminated early in the playoffs, so it won't be a lot of low management for Kawhi this year. He's obviously going to be the leading scorer on that team. Right. He is going to be top for assists on that team, top with rebounds, steals, all of that. Giannis, I think with the league we have now, I think it's just going to be so hard for him to win 3 times in a row. He has the best chance to do it, but I don't think that'll happen. Luka, I agree with Sean. Give me 1 more year. But Kawhi, I think the Clippers are determined this year. I think him, most importantly, is very determined this year. And that is where I this is really a hot take more than just an MVP pick, but I think he could be an MVP this year. But sir, that's your former player. Who do you think will be MVP this year?
I said it right from the get-go. Right from the get-go. Right after it was announced Giannis won a second, I said Luka is going to win this upcoming season. I don't necessarily think it's going to have to be a top seed in the West. If they're in the playoff picture, he will get serious consideration. His game is evolving every single year, and he's going to be the man to start the season, and no one can stop him when he's on. So I'm picking Luka.
Oh, remember that clutch 3 against the Clippers?
Yes.
Too?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Like if he can make shots like
he's going to be the number 1 guy, and I have a feeling he's going to win one eventually. It could be next year, the year after, but I really something going on for him. He's very special, and I think this year is going to be the year for him.
I'm loving the ball that I'm getting right now for Luka.
Yeah, Sean's Sean's in the background like, oh yeah.
I'm just like, I just kicked back. Was like,
Yeah, Sean had a sigh of relief after everyone's Luka pick. But Rocha, I brought this up at the beginning of the episode. A lot of people had Steph winning MVP last year. Who do you think will win MVP this year for the NBA?
I want to go a hot take here. I don't know why I'm feeling this. I just thought of it. If this team is good, we don't know how good they're going to be. If he's committed to this team, I'm going to go James Harden.
Wow.
Because I think his assist per game with DeMarcus Cousins there and John Wall is going to go up. I think if he's committed to Houston and if they play well to get a top 4 seed, I think Harden can average 30, maybe 8 and 8 a game. And I'm going to go an underdog here. I'm going to go James Harden if he's committed to that team.
I like that pick.
So
I like it.
You're going with Steph Curry's son.
Yes.
Steph Curry's favorite son.
Yes,
James Harden. Wow.
Yes.
All right. Well, me and Rocha, obviously with the hottest takes, and we had a Giannis, Luka. But now, I love underrated guys. I'll start with Josh. Who's gonna be the most underrated Bulls player for you guys this season?
Most underrated is gonna be probably Daniel Gafford, center for the Chicago Bulls.
Center?
Yep. Yeah, I this dude he could do it all, man. He is such a beast. His work ethic, is incredible, and a lot of people don't talk about him, even amongst Chicago Bulls fans, and that's because he only played 14 minutes a game on average last year, and then he got hurt. But look for this dude to just have a beast of a season, and maybe even be a starter someday for the Chicago Bulls. He's that good.
Wow. Daniel Gafford. I thought you were going to say Kobe White, Ryan Arcidiacono.
Underrated? I had to go underrated, so I'm going to go Daniel Gafford.
That's true. That is true.
Who do you think is going to be underrated in your team for the Sixers, MG?
Yeah.
Ooh, underrated for the Sixers. Now, I'm mad that Josh Richardson is gone because that would be my pick, but I'm going to go with my guy here, the king of NBA YouTube, Matisse Thybulle. I call him Matisse the Beast because he's an absolute beast on defense. This guy, if you have watched one Sixer game last year, he is electric on defense. he goes after the ball. He was the guy in the Boston series who was defending Jason Tatum when we played against the Blazers. I believe Josh Johnson in that game. He was the guy guarding Dame and CJ, getting switched on Dame and CJ. He's gonna be the guy who's gonna guard the guys like Kyrie Irving. He's a versatile wing defender, can shoot the three well. When he's hot on offense, he's hot. Can do amazing athletic dunks. His dunks this rookie year remind me of a little bit of DeMar DeRozan's first few years when DeMar DeRozan was getting busy at the rim. Matisse Thybulle, man, he's a stud on defense. He's progressing on offense. When he's hot from three, he's great. And like I said, when this guy attacks the rim, he's going to be something special. And I think we paid Tobias Harris all that money. The Matisse Thybulle in 3 years, if he keeps improving, he's going to take Tobias Harris' starting spot at the forward position. I believe the small forward position over Tobias Harris. So that's who I think is going to be underrated for us. But Isaiah, you got LeBron and AD. But who's going to be the underrated guy for your guys' team? You know, people argue last year was Markieff Morris, KCP. Who do you think is going to be the guy this year to step up underrated-wise?
Well, like how you said, you get those guys. I'm gonna go with the Rook last year. I think he's gonna be better than Kuzma. I'm gonna go with Tucker, Horton Tucker.
Oh, I like that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I think he has a great amount of potential. I think he could even be better than Kuzma, and that's not hard to be better than Kuzma.
No.
But I really think he's gonna be something special in this league, and I really think he's gonna. When he played last year, he only played when we were either getting blown out or blowing someone out. And when he played, he showed something. He had a light in him, and I really think he's gonna do something in this league. And I hope he gets more minutes this year. And I hope he does good. And I hope Kaká gets some minutes too. I want to see him. I want to see both of them.
You just want to say his name.
He started giggling after he said his name.
Yeah.
Teehee. But yeah,
that's a really underrated guy. He had a good preseason game.
Tonight, yes.
19-9.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. But sir, you got Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet. But who's going to be flying under the radar up there in Canada? Or now, I believe you guys are playing in
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Oh, Tampa Bay. Okay, so you won't be in Canada, but who would be a guy who flies under the radar in Tampa Bay for the Tampa Bay Raptors?
Like I said, that just sounds so good. But like I said, contract year, OG Anunoby. He's going to be my under the radar player. He's great defensively. He kicks it off with the defense and then gets into offense when he's on. He's on. So it's a big year for him. I think he's going to be that team leader that we've been looking for, and I think he's going to fly under the radar and do good things.
Yeah, like I said, I love OG's story from letting LeBron hit the game winner to hitting game winners in the playoffs. I feel like that's just a great story. But Rocha, you got Steph, Draymond. Who's going to be the guy that you think people should look out for that's going to be very underrated this year?
Well, that's easy for me. That's a second-round pick, Nico Manning. There's a lot of people in our system our base,
front office.
Our players, front office, who think Nico Manning is going to be a really great bench player in this league. I think right now Damian Lee is our backup too. I think Nico Manning by the end of the year is going to take over that spot, and this dude's going to be drilling threes like no tomorrow. His offensive ability is great. So I think Nico Manning's going to be the most underrated player on the Warriors roster.
Yep. That's a good pick.
Second pick. Rookie, huh?
I thought Nico Mannion was going to go late first round to a team like Boston. You know, Boston just lost Wanamaker. I thought he was going to go there, but you guys did get him. B. Christensen, I mean, a lot of people pick Giannis to be MVP, but who's going to be guy flying under the radar under him?
Well, MG, you know I've been really hyped of this dude ever since.
Is it another Nova guy?
Okay. I'm my under the radar dude will be Dante DiVincenzo.
Let's go! I knew it.
Yep.
Yeah, I just love the like how explosive he is. Like games, like I would be watching, I would just see him like right down in there trying to grab rebounds. I love seeing that. And I was looking, his field goal percentage it's not even bad. It's 45%. I'll take it. The thing I was mad about, we did not use him last year. If we could
use him enough,
I think we'll be good.
You think he's gonna have a fire under his ass after the Milwaukee Bucks tried to trade him away?
Yeah,
That's right.
I do.
Yeah, he's definitely going to.
You're right. He was supposed to be in that trade.
I was so mad when I saw he was in that.
It's tough.
Weren't you gonna get a jersey of him?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
I was.
Yeah.
So that's a good one, B. Christensen. That's a good one.
Yeah, I like DiVincenzo a lot, man.
Yeah, obviously I support all Villanova players when it comes to basketball. My guy Sadiq Bey balled out today. But on a serious note, love DiVincenzo. Like you said, his field goal percentage, it can get better, but it's great to start off. And then he really does fly and try to hustles on defense and goes after those rebounds. And like Josh said, he's going to have that fire lit under him. But Sean, you guys traded for Josh Richardson, and that breaks my heart because I really liked him. You got Luka, you got KP. Who's gonna really fly under the radar? Other than your big two stars.
Oh, someone that I think is gonna fly under the radar. So, because we got a lot of new pieces, obviously, right? And so it's gonna be interesting to see how we integrate all of them. But one of the guys I'm getting more and more excited about, I was huge on the Josh Green draft. Josh and me both were like, Josh told me about him. I looked into him. I loved him. It happened. Amazing, right? Just fucking amazing. But that's not the rookie that I'm actually thinking is going to fly on the radar. The rookie I'm actually looking at is Tyrell Terry. This guy,
Tyrell Terry.
I don't even know how he fell to. We got him the first pick of the second round. I really don't understand how he fell. And the more and more I looked into him, and the more and more we've been leading up after the draft, I've been watching more about him. This guy's going to be great, and I feel like he fits perfectly with Luka's style, right? He's a great shooter, 40% from three last year in the Pac-12. Just amazing. He's just developing. He's still developing and growing into his frame. They said he's going to develop even more. So I feel like he's going to fill in that role for that Seth left. But this guy is going to be, I think, very key coming off the bench, or possibly even I could see him maybe taking over that starting spot over Tim Hardaway eventually down the road. Like, I feel like if he keeps on hitting his shots, because he can move without the ball, catch and shoot. He's got a very quick release. That's what I love. He kind of reminds me, like, if you go and watch his tape, he doesn't have the same shooting form as like a Steph, but he's got that quick release like Steph. Like, it's just like boom, he shoots it and it's fucking great.
Tyrell Terry and Josh Green are eventually going to replace Tim Hardaway Jr. and Josh Richardson.
100%.
Yeah, and Josh Richardson, I love that move for Dallas, man. He's going to be a great glue for that front starting five for the Mavericks. Because you saw how great their offense would look last year, the most efficient offense ever, right, Sean?
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that plagued them, along with another great offensive team like the Portland Trailblazers, was their defense. And Josh Richardson's going to bring that together on the defensive side. So, Tyrell Terry, Josh Green, those rookies, eventually they're going to be starters. Those guys are great.
Talking about Josh Richardson, Josh, I was watching an interview with them because his interviews. One thing that I love is that him and Luka actually met when Luka was 16 years old. Apparently, Luka came to California to work out during the offseason, and they met up. And how a lot of these European players will come down, and all these NBA players will get together and stuff, and they played with each other. And when he was 16 or something like that. And Josh Richardson said in the interview, he's like, man, I went back and told all my teammates. I was like, in Miami, when he was in Miami at the time, that this guy is going to be great when he comes in the league. He's probably going to be number one overall. And talked about how he was really impressed and loved his game. And then obviously now he's going to actually play with them. So I like how there's a lot of respect with Josh Richardson. And Josh Richardson said, hey, Luka, you take over whatever you need to do offensively. I'll help out with the defense. And I love that attitude. He knows what he's coming in for. So
there you go.
That's what I really loved about him. Josh Richardson, with us, he was really good mid-range scorer. He was a volume three-point shooter, but he brought it on defense for us. And that's what I'm going to miss. Obviously, Shake Milton, he was kind of a breakout guy for us last year. Obviously, Shake Milton kind of is going to overtake that Josh Richardson role at the 1 or 2 guard position. But that's one thing I miss about Jay Rich is that he always brought it on defense. He let Joel and Ben do what they do on offense, along with Tobias, and on defense, he was always there. So I think that's a good acquisition. And Tyrell Terry, if we didn't draft Tyrese Maxey, that was my next guy for the Sixers, actually. That was the next guy. I believe Josh had the Sixers mocking him. So that was my next guy if we did not have Tyrese Maxey. So that's a great pick for you guys. And man, Tyrell Terry, that was a little bit of a shocking one. Maybe you thought you would have said Tim Hardaway Jr., but yeah, man. But I love doing early predictions. That's one of my favorite things to do in the offseason, right before the season.
All right.
I'm gonna ask all of you guys, but let's start with Sirfromthesix. You know, Sirfromthesix. I like to bring up 2001. You know,
okay.
You guys.
We can bring up 2018 if you want.
Let's go.
The reason why I bring up those two series is because in 2001 we ruined your finals chances. 2019 you ruined ours. Who is gonna be your finals prediction this year? As me and you, we both ruined each other. So I like to start off with you. Who's your finals prediction? From both
That's a tough one.
conferences?
It's too early to tell, but if I had to pick something right now, I'm gonna say Milwaukee and the Lakers.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Who you got winning?
And I got the Lakers repeating.
Yes, sir.
All right, Rocha, I believe you have, other than Josh, this generation, you've seen the most NBA Finals appearances, and the second most all time to Josh in this episode right now. Who do you see making the finals this year out of the East and West?
Well, clearly the Warriors. No, I'm kidding. Lakers, Nets. I really do think KD, Kyrie pairing's going to be great for them. And oh boy, let's go Nets and 7 in the finals.
Boy.
Ooh, I like it.
Nets and
I
7.
like that Nets team a lot. They got a lot of depth off the bench. KD, Kyrie, Allen, Dinwiddie. Yeah, give me the Nets.
Let's see how their leadership goes out there first. Let's see if they can have a leader.
That's absolutely.
And what about their
a great
coach? With a rookie head coach and Steve Nash, we don't know what he's going to bring. Right?
We'll see what happens.
But wait, didn't he coach a little bit in with the Warriors? And didn't he have a great bond with KD?
KD.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I mean, right there, that's just a big part right there. So I mean, your prediction isn't far from fetch. It could happen.
Yeah.
I think a Nets Lakers finals would be really fun to watch.
That'd be great, man. LeBron versus KD.
Again, yep.
I think.
Yep.
Kyrie versus LeBron.
Who do you got, MG? Who you got?
Who do I have?
Yeah.
I'll start. Obviously I have the 76ers and Lakers, 76ers and 4 sweep. Realistically, Kawhi is going to be the MVP regular season, but LeBron's going to be the guy to take over in the playoffs. So obviously I got the Lakers. And you know what? I said it. I told Josh this upcoming playoffs, the Celtics were too young. So everyone last year's playoffs, Celtics were too young. I said it in 2018, Celtics are too young. This year, they don't have that excuse. They have 3 years with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and with that playoff experience. They have bonded well, that duo as well. Lakers, Celtics, obviously the 80s, that was the Lakers and Celtics, rivalry, and we're going to get a glimpse of that. Jason Tatum is an absolute baller. He's training partners with Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid talks a lot of great things about him. Jaylen Brown, he's one of the best wing scorers and defenders in the whole NBA. He shoots the 3 very well, drives to the rim, mid-range, and like I said, Jason Tatum's all-around game. Marcus Smart being one of the most underrated players in the league. And yeah, man, I just think the Celtics and Lakers, and I have Lakers in 6. I think LeBron and AD will kind of dominate. I think it'll be 2-2 tied up, and then LeBron and AD will eventually take over that series. But Isaiah, who do you have making the finals this season for both conferences?
I thought I was going to be the only one. Well, I have the 2 most winning titleist teams in the NBA Finals facing off each other. I got the Los Angeles Lakers, versus the bum Boston Celtics. And I think the Lakers win in 5. And I think, hot take, that's going to be the only loss the Lakers are going to have in this postseason.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But that's my hot take. And I think the Lakers with the NBA final win, they receive championship as the most winning title team ever. And I got Lakers in 5.
And the Celtics will try to tie it back up with the win against y'all. But be courteous, a lot of guys, they are high on the Bucks. They're high on Giannis. Who do you have making the finals this year?
There's a lot of motivation in this Bucks this year from last year.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the Bucks.
Okay.
Because that team is gonna be motivated to show Giannis why this team is for him. On his birthday, they literally everyone gave him a pen.
To sign that contract.
Yeah, they all want him here. I'm gonna go Bucks from East, and I'm going Lakers in the West.
Okay. Who do you have winning the series?
I have the Bucks beating the Lakers in
Biased.
Biased. That's biased. That's
Hey, it
biased.
could happen. I'm just saying. Good.
You know what else
Last
could
year,
happen?
it was nothing. This year,
It could happen, yes.
It definitely could happen.
But one thing that won't
You think
happen, we
it's
won't see the
surprise?
Sixers winning anytime soon.
That's tough.
Hey, listen. Hot take. We're making the Eastern Conference Finals this year, baby.
Okay.
Celtics.
As long as they bring Brooklyn, I don't care.
Sixers Celtics. We're gonna beat the Bucks in the second round. We're gonna beat.
Okay.
Look, I got you. Listen. We're gonna be the 4th seed. We're gonna upset the 5th seed Miami in the first round. We're gonna upset the Bucks in the second round. Then they're gonna lose to the Celtics in 6 games, and then they will make the finals. But hey,
I'm
I'm
you
just
and
saying,
Boston in there, so
Eastern Conference Finals for the Sixers. But Sean, who do you think? Who's your NBA final prediction this year?
Well, I think it's a sweep with all of us. I think we're all thinking the Lakers from the West.
Yep.
Just them getting Harrell and Schroeder is just freaking amazing. So I think let's go ahead and they're the early favorites as of right now to make it back into the NBA Finals. Now in the East, I'm kind of going to stick with who made it last year in Miami. Now I know a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, Brooklyn I think is could definitely be in there, like Josh is saying and stuff like that. They got the talent. Now the coaching is what concerns me. In playoffs, coaching does play a big factor to me. And Nash, I know he has a great relationship with KD, but how is he going to be able to draw plays, call timeouts, and everything, and handle the flow of the game in the playoffs? Spoelstra, we know, is one of the best coaches. Very underrated. No one talks about him, but we all respect him. We know how good he is. And just Miami, they were so young last year. So young. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero. Look how young they were, and they were balling out. I think this year, a whole year of experience from that. Then they drafted Precious Achua.
Achua.
I felt like they got good depth right there at forward. So I think this team could take it all the way. I still think the Lakers will come out on top, even if they rematch. Yeah. But I'm hoping it'd be a better series and people can stay healthy, like Dragic and Bam. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Miami just because coaching and the talent they have.
All right.
Wow.
And a lot of people are sleeping on the Heat too.
A lot of people are. Yeah. Who do you have winning?
Oh, I got Lakers. I still got Lakers.
Okay.
With Harrell and Schroeder, it's just amazing. So I'm really impressed by what they're going to do with that. And let's not forget, Miami also got Avery Bradley. So I think that them losing Jay Crowder, getting Avery Bradley was a good move.
Good move. Here's my last question, not least though. My last question is, I like good stories. I like guys who turn their careers around. Starting with Josh, who's going to be the most improved player? Who's going to turn their career? And
wait, are we not going to finish finals predictions with me and Sir?
Oh wait, I forgot I did the actually too. I think I asked Sir first, but I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Who do you have winning the finals?
That's tough. That's tough. But I will have the Los Angeles Lakers out of the West as well. The East is a more interesting story, of course, and I'm gonna lean towards the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, this is the NBA. Talent wins out. That's just a fact. That's just a matter of fact. And as long as they stay healthy, they have one of the best 9-man rotations in the NBA, bar none. So as long as they stay healthy, even with a rookie head coach and the coaching staff, I mean, come on, let's be real, folks. This is the NBA, and as long as they stay healthy, the Nets will be in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I'm going to go with Nets and Lakers, and I'm going to go with the Lakers winning in 7. And if it's not the Nets, I'm probably going to lean towards the Boston Celtics and Indiana Pacers, and that's really tough for me.
The Pacers.
I think I'm going to go with the Indiana Pacers. I think people forget just how good Indiana is and just how riddled with injuries they were last year. I mean, their starting 5 is one of the best, arguably, in the Eastern Conference with Brogdon, Oladipo, T.J. Warren, Sabonis, who is a freaking beast, and Miles Turner with Jeremy Lamb coming off the bench with Justin Holiday and Doug McDermott. So no, I think people forget how good Indiana is, and then with Miami, I think Miami is one of the teams that most benefited during a bubble, and I think they overachieved. I think the Eastern Conference Finals will come down to a combination of Brooklyn, Indiana, and Boston. Two of those 3 teams is going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I'm going to go with Brooklyn. But don't be surprised about Indiana. We could have Indiana Lakers like in 2000.
That'd be fun.
Wow. And dude, Indiana, that's a team a lot of people forget about.
And you remember with all the injuries, and remember Oladipo, he was hurt a lot too last year, and they were still just 4 games behind Boston in the standings. With everything considered, they're pretty and they were better than the Miami Heat last year during the regular season. People forget just how good Indiana is.
They do.
Absolutely.
I think, Josh, you have the hot take of the episode. That right there, that's a shocker to all of us, obviously. But that's tough because Indiana does have a talented roster. But I want to say what your Brooklyn Nets pick.
Oh, and MG just died midway through. Rest in peace.
That's what he gets for forgetting Josh. For
Yeah,
his final
Jesus, rest in peace, MG. There he is.
He died worse than Isaiah on punishment.
Hey,
I guess my finals takes just killed it.
Your finals take just ruined my life. I was saying about your Brooklyn one. You say that talent is everything in the NBA.
It's not everything, but it's a big damn thing in the NBA. Yes.
Okay. So do you not believe that Kyrie's lack of leadership that has been shown and the lack of coaching experience for Steve Nash will go against that talent?
I think Kyrie Irving could be a good leader here for the Brooklyn Nets. Because I mean he shared some of that with LeBron James back in Cleveland. I think Kyrie Irving gets a little bit too much hate, honestly. But Irving, Kevin Durant have a great relationship. Neither one of them are going to be selfish playing with each other on this team. So I think some of that is definitely overblown. And considering who their role players are, with Joe Harris, which is one of the most deadly outside shooters in the game, LeVert, Jared Allen, Dinwiddie, who's probably going to be one of the 6 men of the year candidates. I just don't see this team imploding and and players just going at each other's throats like some people think. I just don't see that. I just don't see that between Kyrie and Kevin Durant. I don't.
Wow. All right, good take. I personally disagree. I think Brooklyn, the talent will, the lack of leadership will kind of get to their heads, but that's a good take nonetheless. Kyrie Irving, he does get a little bit too much criticism.
I mean, did it hinder Cleveland when they won it? Because clearly Kyrie Irving and LeBron James didn't get along at all, and as well as Kevin Love. I mean, Kevin Love and Kyrie still don't get along. They're still taking jabs at each other. So how much did that hinder them? And they were going up against guys like the Golden State Warriors.
That's true, but yeah, that is true. I see that. That's true. And obviously, and you can also to add to your point, you can also make the case that Tyronn Lue was an unexperienced coach. He didn't really coach anywhere big, or not to my understanding. a playoff game ever.
Yeah, I think we could all agree that Ty Lue is not that great of a coach. We don't really see him that way. You know.
So you do make a great point,
and maybe Steve Nash. Hey, look, maybe he comes out there and he does a great job. You know, Steve Nash has always had great chemistry with everywhere he went, and everyone respects the hell out of him. And he has one of the greatest IQs in basketball. Now, Jason Kidd also had that, but you also saw that he didn't have the respect from a lot of the players that he coached. I mean, you saw guys just running right into him. They did not like Jason Kidd when he was coaching. He lost a lot of respect from his locker room. Yeah. I don't think Steve Nash is that. I don't think that's going to happen with Steve, honestly.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing is KD did say he does have a lot of respect for Steve Nash when he was the talent developer. I believe that was his role with the Golden State Warriors. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was his role, and he does have a lot of respect around the league. But now we can get to our final question.
Yes.
Like I said, I like great stories. I like guys who turn their careers around and improve. Starting with Josh, so that we don't forget you this time. Who do you think is going to be the most improved player in the 2021 season?
The most improved player is going to be Lauri Markkanen of the Chicago Bulls.
I like it.
I was already absolutely impressed with his usage in just one preseason game against the Houston Rockets tonight. The way Billy Donovan is going to utilize him, and he's also in a contract year, so he wants that money. He wants that extension. If he can get that with Chicago, awesome. He's got to prove it. Otherwise, he's going to be looking for someone else to try to give him that contract at the end of the year. So, contract year, he's got to prove himself off of what happened last year. And under Billy Donovan, give me Lauri to be the most improved player of the year. Some of my honorable mentions would probably be Markelle Fultz. I think people forget just how good he was. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, or hell, even Jamal Murray. We saw how good he was during the bubble playoffs, but watch him possibly do that during a regular season.
Improve Jamal Murray. That's scary for the NBA. And improve Jamal Murray.
That's scary as shit.
I mean, that's a big shocker. Improve Jamal Murray. That'd be great to see for the Nuggets, but then that means Jokic will be more successful, and then people will say Embiid's better than Jokic, even though he's not. But we don't have to have that conversation right now.
MG,
Isaiah.
who do you have?
Oh, who do I have?
Yeah.
Most improved player, like I said, I love great stories. I like guys who improve, and that was a great pick with Lauri Markkanen. But I think the most improved player, and I'm going to go to older guy. I'm going to go to super hot take. And I met this guy in person, and I know what this guy's about. He's a grinder, go-getter, really hustle on the court. Y'all ready for this? Markieff Morris from the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yes,
talk about
sir.
how LeBron and AD, their minutes are going to be cut down. We know about what Montrezl Harrell can do. We know what Dennis Schroeder can do. When Wesley Matthews, when he's good at some points, he shows flashes. We know what Alex Caruso can do. But I feel like Markieff Morris, this guy, he was one of their guys who really stepped up in the finals last year.
The good twin.
He could put a regular season display of what he did and more minutes with LeBron and AD getting less minutes. I don't see why he can't. Now, obviously, that might be a little biased. Obviously, like I said, I met this guy in person, so I know what he's about on a personal level. And, I know his mentality, and I think that he can win Most Improved Player. Honorable mentions, my guy from Philly, Matisse Thybulle. Another Most Improved Player, Kendrick Dunn from Miami. He could be a good candidate. Another one, Jalen Brunson, a guard from Dallas. I see a lot of potential from him. If he can stay healthy, if he can get a little bit more minutes in Dallas down there, he could be another honorable mention. But yeah, that's my pick for Most Improved Player. But Isaiah, I picked the Laker guy. Do you have a Laker guy as Most Improved Player? Or if not, who do you have?
I got Tyler Hero as being the most improved player.
Okay.
I think what he did last year, especially in the playoffs, I think is going to carry on into this next season. and I think this kid is gonna just not destroy the league, but I think he's gonna be talked more. And I think he's gonna do something special this season.
Wow. Okay. Any honorable mentions or runner-ups for you?
I would have to go with Marquise Morris too.
Okay. All right. Rocha, who do you have as most improved this year?
All right, so yeah, I'm agree with somebody in here who's already said it. To me, it's gonna be Lauri Markkanen. I was so high on this dude when he first came in the league. He was such a beast, man. I think, like Josh said, with him now going back inside the paint, I think Markkanen is going to be the most improved player. I love his game. I was so disappointed. Like, I was a Bulls fan. I was so disappointed in him last year. But my honorable mention, I got 2 honorable mentions so nobody's mentioned yet. One, Michael Porter Jr. I think Michael Porter Jr. in Denver takes that next step and becomes a great player. I want to say a superstar. And the other one, I'm going to go biased here, Eric Paschall. I think Eric Paschall is going to take another step up this year. And Josh explained earlier, maybe he does take over Draymond Green's role. But I think Eric Paschall is going to have a breakout season. So give me Lauri Markkanen for him to bounce back.
Wow. I like the pick. Michael Porter Jr., I'm disappointed in myself now that I didn't think of him as honorable mention. I mean, you saw what he showed flashes in the bubble. But Sir Cardinal, or Sirfromthesix, as that's your new name, who do you have as the most improved guy this year?
For the Toronto Raptors, he just got paid. Chris Boucher, I think, is going to have a really improved season. He's got something to prove this year. I think he's going to be a good reserve for Pascal Siakam off the bench. I think he's going to have some good numbers. So I say Chris Boucher for the Raptors. And Rocha, you son of a bitch. Michael Porter Jr. for me. He's going to be the new starting small forward there. If he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be more improved. And he's my pick outside of the Raptors is MPJ.
Yeah, man, getting that started minutes. His game's going to improve a lot this year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely. Sean, who do you have as most improved this year?
Well, son of a bitch, everybody said the guys I was thinking. No, Lauri and MPJ are I feel like the favorites. Just because Josh already highlighted Lauri's better system for him. And he's got the talent. Mike Porter Jr. We saw flashes of greatness in the playoff from him, but then he also disappeared at moments. So I'm hoping he can really just stay consistent. But there's another guy that I want to mention that no one's mentioned yet, and this is a guy actually on the Toronto Raptors, and that's OG Anunoby. I think Anunoby, whatever, however you say it. OG. I'm just gonna call him OG. This guy, I feel like he's gonna have a good year this year. I think in the playoffs, it showed that he can handle some of the workload. Right? I think he only averaged 10 points last year a game. I think he's gonna improve, and I'm just loving the progression of this guy. So I like his attitude, I like his confidence, like we talked about earlier in this recording. So I think OG could be another to look out for.
What if he steps up and ends up being the guy for Toronto when it was supposed to be Siakam?
Good.
Because to be the guy, you got to be that guy in the clutch moments and in the playoffs, because that's when it really matters. And Siakam, he just went away too much for me. It really irritated me. So I couldn't even imagine, being a Toronto Raptors fan like Sir Cardinal, who was watching that and it was probably like, come on, dude! Like he was playing too inconsistent. So if OG can step up and eventually maybe be the guy, man, yeah, he could win it.
Yeah, think about it. If he goes from he's averaging 10 points a game last season, right?
10.6,
20. I think he could easily win it.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to see what he could do.
I mean, OG's got so much talent, whether it's offense or defense, man. He absolutely could take that next
two-way player.
Yes, sir.
The two-way wing.
Exactly.
Yep. But last, B. Christensen, who do you have as your most improved guy? Who's going to take that big jump?
I'm going with someone from Miami. I'm going Kendrick Nunn.
Okay.
Right.
From what I've seen from him, he showed the signs of being a starter. He does. I think he's not going to get it right away, but I think he's going to get in that starting rotation in a few games later on in the season.
Okay.
Well, he was actually last year, you know. And
started
the
off
only,
as a starter.
and the only reason why Dragic was the starter going into the bubble is because none left. He was gone for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to go with Dragic, and then when he came back, it was like, well, you know, we're cooking now, so let's not mess with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
You
think
know?
Nunn actually tested positive. That's why he didn't join right away.
Yeah,
He did test positive for
And
a
when he
minute.
came
yeah.
back, he said that it was a struggle for him to get back going.
yeah, because once you got something that's working, you don't want to mess with it. Chemistry.
You don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he won the starting job last year over Dragic. You know?
Yeah.
He did. And then Dragic did well in the playoffs. So when Nunn came back, it was kind of like you can't take Dragic out the game. You
Yeah.
kind of got to roll with him. But that's a good pick. Nobody actually picked Kendrick Nunn as their front runner for most improved players. So, I mean, that's a good pick. Obviously, I like most of you guys who pick Larry Markkinen. But, yeah, man. So we got the most improved player, MVP, finals predictions. Last, I know, Roach, you said your record prediction for your team earlier, but I'm going to ask the rest of you. Josh, who's your first half record prediction? I believe it's 36 games.
Wait, what are you asking?
What was the
Your
question?
first half,
What was the question?
your first half record prediction for the Bulls this year. I believe it's 36 games for the first half.
It's it's like 36 games.
Yes. What's your record prediction out of 36 for the Bulls?
I think we're going to win. I think we're going to win 17 games.
Okay.
Honestly, I think we're going to win 17 games.
Okay, 17. Sir Cardinal or Sir from the Six. Out of 36 games, how many games do you think the Raptors could win?
I could say anywhere between 19 and 20.
Okay, so not that far ahead of the Bulls.
Ooh.
Really? I think a little bit more. Maybe like 20, 25.
I don't know. They got a tough schedule to start. They got that West Coast trip to start the season, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Rocha, what's your you said years. I forgot you say that again. 18 and 18.
Yeah, 18. I'll take 500 at the break for sure for the Warriors.
All right, Isaiah, 36. How many does the Lakers take in the first half?
30 or 32 wins.
No.
So y'all only would lose 6.
He's probably not wrong.
Yeah, actually, you might not be wrong. Yeah.
I'm shocked to just say 36-0. Shit.
Yeah.
Well, he's gonna lose to the Bucks.
Boy!
Sean, how many games out of 36 for the Mavs? Brutal schedule.
Oh yeah, brutal, very brutal. So best case scenario, I feel like we win 25 games. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be tough though. If it just, especially without Porzingis in the first little bit, as we play a lot of tough teams. We have to play Phoenix right off the bat. We have to play Lakers right off the bat, and we got just brutal schedule. So
You
my
can start
hope
off
is
like
between
30.
20 to 25.
So if you win 25, that'd be 11 losses. 20 would be 16. So over 500, probably put you around top 5 in the West.
Yeah, and I'm just hoping our second half of the schedule is easier.
Yeah, Jesus.
I swear, man.
Yeah, I mean, if you guys win 25 games in the first half, you're probably going to end up with around 50 wins.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Yep.
So if y'all get 25, and even more than 50, because y'all get Porzingis really healthy in the second half of the season, so y'all can win more than 25 in the second half.
And with the Chicago Bulls, if we can get 17 wins, you know, that would be 5 less wins than our overall wins for last year. Yeah, we were 22 and 43 last year. We were trash.
I didn't even know you guys were that bad. God damn.
Yeah,
I thought you were
you
more
guys
of
were like 30 and like 40 or something.
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
But B. Christensen, I believe you're the last guy. Out of 36 games, how many games do the Bucks win?
I think anywhere between 28 and 30. I think we're gonna start off hot, beating the Celtics and Warriors, and then we'll see. And I think we play Miami back to back, and I think we'll split with them.
All right. And for the Sixers, I think out of the first 36, I think we'll go 25 wins out of 11. I expect us to start off our first games start off like around 500, 5-5, but really start to pick it up as we build chemistry along the season. But that's our predictions. Isaiah B. Christensen, any last questions for our guests here before we roll out?
Well, let's get into my favorite topic, and I think everybody loves this sport. Let's get into baseball, guys. Let's get into our baseball predictions for the year.
Let's fucking do it. I know Sir's pumped for that.
I know we have the baseball Buddha. I know we got the baseball Buddha.
Yes,
but
sir.
calm yourself.
The baseball Buddha who couldn't even beat me in a bet.
Oh, that's tough.
Technically, there was no bet on the line. Thank God.
Bullshit.
But you're just a regular, Josh.
Yeah, Josh is a casual fan. Like, how did you lose? How did you lose a baseball debate to a casual?
I put my belief in Cincy, and I was wrong.
Never trust the Reds.
When you're a casual to a sport, you just got to learn when to pick your battles. And that one, I definitely picked right.
Josh knows the division, so yeah.
Yeah. Josh does know the What are you in the N now? Central? The Cubs?
Yes, Central.
Yes. Well, along with B. Christensen's Brewers, the Reds, and the Pirates. The Pirates, they suck.
Yeah, they do.
They're horrible. Worst team in Pennsylvania sports. But B. Christensen, any last questions for our guests before we get out of here?
Not really. No.
Well, since I believe this is a sad moment, we're gonna end this here. I would like to thank everybody who watches this podcast. Appreciate you, Josh, Sean, Rocha, Sir Cardinal, for tuning in tonight's episode. Appreciate you guys. Their channels will be in the link in the description.
Yes, they will.
And thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Guys, you guys are incredible. You're 23 episodes into your podcast. Yeah. We're very proud of you guys. Just keep it. I like that you guys keep it going. You guys keep doing the podcast. One of the problems is with people they don't build consistency, and you guys are doing that. So very proud of you guys. Keep up the great work, and thank you so much for having us all on. It was awesome.
I got one question. Who's Sir Cardinal?
I'm sorry.
Sirfromthesix. Hey, nah, bro. I like to thank y'all, man. Y'all opened up our YouTube channel. Y'all premiered our YouTube channel. First episode on our YouTube. All these guys in this chat. Awesome. All these guys in this chat right now these guys are my top sports YouTubers. And that's no doubt. I mean, the fact that y'all were able to take y'all time out as, like I said, the top sports YouTubers, I mean, I just appreciate that. All y'all channels will definitely be in the description.
They will be.
But I appreciate y'all for being our first guest on the YouTube side of things. Obviously, Josh was our second ever guest on the Spotify side of the podcast. Josh opened up the YouTube, so shout out to Josh. Shout out to Sean. He does an amazing job along with Josh, doing their NFL, NBA, boxing, commentating. Rocha, he's probably going to hit 100K in like a year or two. I just feel it. I mean, this guy is just going up. Sir Cardinal, or Sirfromthesix now.
It's like the Oakland and Vegas shit.
I know.
I guess I got to go back to the old name.
Sir Cardinal from the Six.
Yes.
But Sirfromthesix. I mean, this guy's amazing. My favorite Canadian guy. Even though his guy Kawhi Leonard broke my heart a few years ago, it's okay. It's
amazing moment, Quadoink.
And like I said, these guys, the best sports YouTubers in the world, links are gonna be in the description. Appreciate you guys for opening up our YouTube channel, another chapter in our growth and in our development as a friendship and as a podcast. So I appreciate you guys. Because Isaiah, last words you want to say to these guys?
I just appreciate you guys for coming on. Last week we didn't even know it was gonna happen, and it just happened on short notice. I really appreciate it.
Yep, we found out like a few days ago.
Yeah.
we were just like, you know what? We're just gonna bring all the boys on and open up the YouTube channel that way. But Isaiah, any last words for these guys?
Sir Cardinal's gonna hit 100K next year, May 22nd. Roach is gonna hit his 100K in the NBA Finals, Game 6, when the Lakers win it all.
Okay.
All right, we'll see about the Lakers part.
I appreciate you guys for being on. I appreciate you guys for listening. This is probably our longest episode.
It is.
Subscribe to all their channels. Subscribe to all our personal channels. My channel's MG Nas. Isaiah Faithful 49, B Christensen, B Sports and Gaming. Expect constant uploads and streams from us three.
Yep.
From these other from our guests, expect streams from them. We got MG Nas, your host, Isaiah B Christensen, Sirfromthesix, not Sir Cardinal anymore.
Hey.
Yourboyrocha, and then Josh and Sean from the Sports Theory. We thank you guys. It's your co-host MG Nas, and I'm out.
Yep. And if you love baseball, you love golf, and you love soccer, subscribe to the Sports Free. They do nothing but those three sports
all day, every day.
Don't forget lacrosse.
Lacrosse.
Yes.
I'm also
cricket, water polo.
Oh yeah,
Sick and nice swimming.
I'm also your co-host Isaiah. I'm signing out as well.
And I'm your co-host B Sports and Gaming. Signing out.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care and spike your hair.
Hey!